Hey, what's up? I'm Justin. Welcome to 65 Drums. If you want to keep on top of everything electronic drum related, remember to press the subscribe and bell icon so you don't miss any of the new videos. So this is my first impressions video of the Carlsbro CSD180. Recently got to play this drum set. I'd previously tried out the little brother version of this. This one's $400, by the way. And then there's the CSD130, which I mentioned in my most portables electronic drum set video, talking about ones that are really easily folded in on themselves and put in a closet or in your car. If you want to go check that video out, I'll link it in the description below. But that drum set, that version of it, it's only $300. So before we go into whether or not this drum set is actually worth buying, let's talk about the internal specs and the sizes of the pads, all that great stuff. So the Carlsbro CSD180 has 26 preset drum kits. Some of those are internal ones. Some of them are ones that you can design yourself and mix and match different drums. And then you got 20 demo songs, which honestly no one ever cares about. You get 458 sounds in general, 3-band EQ, 3 ambience types, and 2 reverb settings. This is actually pretty sweet on a drum set that's $400 because a lot of times there are no EQ effects or anything. And just the ability to raise and lower the high end and the low end, that really affects how the drum set sounds overall. So I'm glad that's in the module right there. This set also has an internal metronome, USB MIDI in and out ports, an aux in jack, left and right outputs, and a regular headphone jack. And it's got a pretty large LCD display as well. And then of course it comes with the hi-hat controller pedal and this weird kick drum device. Now I've seen this a bunch of different times on like the Roland TD7 drum sets and other low-end electronic drum sets. The whole idea is that since they're not putting in a kick drum tower, at least they won't give you 2 hi-hat controller pedals, because I hate those. At least they're giving you something that's using an actual kick drum pedal, which is included in the bundle, and it's just hitting this little rubber hockey puck that's sitting on the floor. Now on the carpet I was playing on, I did notice that it was sliding around. I don't know if it's because the rubber feet on the back of it just aren't very grippy on that particular carpet, but I thought I'd mention it. And again, if we compare these two drum sets right here, the 130 versus the 180 we're talking about today, the 130, it has 7.5-inch pads and then 10-inch cymbals. Meanwhile, this one has 12-inch cymbals, 10-inch hi-hat, and then 8-inch tom and snare pads. As far as the playing surfaces go, I like the rubber material that they chose for the tom and snare pads. Feels pretty darn good. Not a fan of that kick drum pedal, one, because it was moving around, and also just it didn't feel quite natural to me. I wish it had a kick drum tower. If you buy an Alesis Nitro, it'll have a kick drum tower and it's $100 less. So that's something that's missing from this drum set that kind of makes me be a little hesitant to recommend it to people. As far as the rest of the pads though, I do like the way they feel. Now I don't think this drum set is going to last you for 5-10 years. This is a temporary drum set, a practice drum set on your way to saving for a bigger and better drum set later on, but I did have fun playing this. It is nice to play on. There's no bell zone on that ride cymbal, and really no electronic drum sets at this price point have a bell zone. But there is a bell sound when you hit the edge of the cymbal. So it takes your brain a second to switch over to getting used to hitting the edge of the cymbal to get a bell sound, but once you get used to it, it's pretty intuitive and it works. And speaking of the drum sounds, they are pretty darn cheesy. I've linked a playing example of this if you want to go listen to how it sounds. I've linked a video from Sam Ash down in the description below. It'll give you an idea of how it sounds. When I was playing it through the PA speaker that was on the floor that I was playing it through, it actually sounded better than in that video for some reason. Maybe it was just the speaker was nicer, or maybe they, increased the lows or something, and that's why it just sounded nicer when I was playing it in person. But overall, it is a cheesy drum module. $400, you're not going to get some sort of amazing sampled sounds. They're machine gunny, and they're just practice worthy. My main gripes with this drum set is the fact that it doesn't have a kick drum tower, and the snare isn't quite as dynamic as I want it to be. Now the snare issue, this is either a combination of the snare sounds themselves or the drum pad itself. I don't know if it's because the drum pad isn't sensitive, or maybe it's sending the MIDI notes to the drum module, and the drum module bank just doesn't have enough quiet drum sounds, because it sounds like there's not a lot of ghost sampled sounds inside of this drum set. If you go watch the playing example video I've linked in the description below, you'll see what I'm talking about. It just sounds like they've taken the sound and they just lowered and lowered the volume as you play softer, as opposed to having 20 different layers at different velocities. This is something that you kind of have to expect on a cheaper drum set like this. So what Carlsbro is trying to do here is serve that very specific niche. Those people that don't want to spend $500 but they got more than $300. So it serves that need. I'm not trying to tell you this is a bad electronic drum set. This is a very average, middle of the road electronic drum set for $400. But if I had the choice between this one and an Alesis Nitro for $100 less, I would buy the Alesis Nitro because I think the sounds are a hair better, and also you get a kick drum tower. Those things are important to me, even if the pad sizes are... The drum sizes on this set feel a little bit larger than on an Alesis Nitro. So that's my official recommendation about this electronic drum set. Coming from a first impression, not owning this drum set, not playing it for a solid month straight, my overall thoughts on it are buy an Alesis Nitro for 300 bucks or spend $100 more, buy the Forge or a Yamaha DXT400k. All right, those are better options. But if you own this drum set or if you've played it before, I want to hear what you guys think of this drum set as well. Leave me a comment down below. Really interested to read your thoughts. Hope you have an amazing day, and I'll see you in a few. Okay, so story time. I'm at the Sam Ash yesterday up in Cleveland or something, and playing this Carlsbro drum set, trying to figure out what I was going to say in the video, whether or not it's worth $400, that type of a thing. Out of the corner of my eye, I see a couple of these teenagers walk up. I think they're like 13 and stuff. They walk up, and they're like, "Whoa, you play the drums?" I was like, "Yes. Yeah, I do play the drums. That's why I'm sitting here." And they're like, "Drop a beat." And I was like, "Guys, this isn't a concert. I'm just trying to play this drum set, trying to figure out if I like it or not." And they're like, "No, drop a beat." And I was like, "Okay." So I start playing this groove. I'm on funk kit number 2 inside of this drum module. And I didn't realize it was a hip-hop groove until they started freestyling over it. They're rapping to this drum beat I'm playing on this kit, and it actually flowed really well. I have no idea why. One guy would freestyle over the beat for about a measure or two, a bar or two, and then he'd pass it off to his friend, and his friend would start rapping over the drum beat. They kept passing it back and forth. We did this for like 2 or 3 minutes straight. We literally did an entire song until they finally started losing ideas on what to rap about. And that was my experience, my first experience playing this Carlsbro drum set. So that was pretty fun. And then later, I spot this dad. He's like looking around the different electronic drum sets because they're in a giant row like this, just a giant straight line, a double-sided line. I'm at the end of the row playing this Carlsbro drum set. He's looking around trying to figure out what drum set he wants to buy. He goes and gets the drum associate dude, and the drum associate dude does not like this Carlsbro drum set. He's not a fan. It's not that he hates it, he's just not a fan. He wants the guy to buy this Yamaha DXT400k. And honestly, if you compare this one to the Yamaha one, you should probably buy that Yamaha one. The sales associate was right. So the sales associate is trying to do his thing, try to get him, sort of warm him up and try to explain why the Yamaha one is better. So I'm sitting here just playing all these different kits inside of the drum set. Meanwhile, the sales associate is pointing at the Yamaha drum set, trying to convince him to buy the set. And I'm over here, you know, doing my thing, playing the different kits inside of the drum set. And apparently I played a little too well, because the dude pointed at my drum set and said, "I want to buy that one." And the sales guy's like, "Okay." Sales guy walks back to the back of the room, can't find the drum set anywhere. He walks back to the guy and said, "Would you buy the store floor model? Because we don't actually have one in a box." And the guy's like, "No, fine, we'll take this one right here." So they literally bought the drum set right out from under me. The guy probably should have bought the Yamaha drum set, but he bought this one because he saw some dude playing it and liked the way it sounded or something. So just thought that was kind of funny. In the same day, I'm trying to play this drum set. People are rapping over my beats, and then they buy the drum set right out from under me. So I just thought that was a fun story.